All right, so back to our second part of solving inequalities. So we're going to look at about 6 more problems today, going ahead and solving them. Again, remember that inequalities are nothing more than equations. There's only one special rule with dividing or multiplying by a negative number. Other than that, we're doing the exact same thing. So today we're only going to worry about solving it, and I will do a couple graphs and some interval notation, but we're going to mostly focus on solving today. All right. So the first one I have, notice that my x is on the right-hand side. For right now, I'm not going to stress about it. It looks a little weird, but we're not going to worry about it. What I'm going to do is what I would do if this was an equality. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the 6 by subtracting 6 from both sides. Right. These 6's over here cancel out, leaving me with just my x, leaving my inequality where it is. And go ahead and add those together, the same sign. So keep the sign. You get 21. And it still looks a little weird. All right. So when you solve and your x is on the right-hand side, what you want to do first is reverse your numbers. So I'm going to put my x over here, my negative 21 over here. Now my inequality, the smaller side of my inequality, the pointy side, is facing my x. I want to make sure when I redraw my inequality, that also happens. It basically flips it over, and the equal sign goes underneath of this. Now I could go ahead and do a quick graph. So at negative 21, x is less than or equal to, so it gets a bracket. I go ahead and shade to the left. And my interval notation will be negative infinity to negative 21. Infinity gets a parenthesis, and the negative 21 gets the bracket. All right. Let's go ahead and look at example 2 here. Example 2, I have 6x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 8x minus 3x. Now, just like equations with inequalities, if you can simplify on either side of the inequality, you want to go ahead and do that first. So notice I have 8x minus 3x here. Those are like terms. I can go ahead and subtract those, and that will give me 5x. And everything else is going to stay the same, including the inequality. Now my goal is to always get, for inequalities, my x on the left. It just makes my life easier when I'm graphing and doing interval notation. So I need to go ahead and subtract 5x from both sides. And some of you are going to think, oh wow, this looks really weird. Remember, the opposite, if I have 5 and negative 5, they're opposites to each other and they go to 0. So when these cancel out, I'm left with a 0 on this side. My inequality stays. 6x minus 5x is just x, and the minus 2 is still there. So yes, you can go ahead, move something, and end up having a 0 in its place. It's totally okay. Then we're going to go ahead and add 2 to both sides. And x is going to be greater than or equal to 2. Now notice, we just did a lot of subtraction. No need to flip the inequality or do anything like that. Next example here, I'm looking at 5x minus 8 is greater than 3x plus 4. On either side, I can't do any simplifying. So at this point, it's just moving things around. I want to get the x's over to this side. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides to get my x's over to the left. We're going to cancel right there. 5x minus 3x is 2x. Minus 8 is greater than the 4 that's left on the other side. From there, I'm going to go ahead and add 8 to both sides. So 2x is greater than 4 plus 8, which is 12. I'm going to divide by 2. I'm dividing by a positive 2. No need to change the inequality. So x is going to be greater than 6. And from here I can go ahead and do set all the notations. I'm going to skip that for this one. I'm going to focus more on solving at this point. Example number 4. I need to go ahead and distribute both sides first. There's nothing in common inside the parentheses, so I need to go ahead and distribute. So I have negative 3x from the distribution here. Negative and a plus give me a minus 9 is greater than or equal to 6 times 2, which is 12. And 6 times negative x, remember there's that 1 there, so that would give me a minus 6x. From here, I'm going to go ahead and start moving. I'm going to get my x's over to the left by adding 6x to both sides. And I'm left with 3x minus 9 greater than or equal to 12. These canceled out. And go ahead and add 9 to both sides. So I have 3x is greater than or equal to 12 plus 9, which is 21. I'm going to divide by 3. I'm dividing by a positive. No sign change needed. I don't need to flip my inequality. So x is going to be greater than or equal to 21 divided by 3, which is just 7. Right, I've got 2 more for you here. I totally encourage these last 2 that you try them and then watch the video, make sure that you solved it correctly, and then move on to your exercises that you have assigned for today. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute first. So I have negative 3, a negative and a negative give me a plus 6x is less than 5 times 2, which is 10, plus 5x. Again, I'm going to go ahead and move my x's over to the left, so I'm just going to subtract 5x from the right. Those are going to cancel, and I'm left with negative 3 plus 1x, or just x, is less than 10. Adding 3 to both sides, I have x is less than 13. And again, my interval notation, if you want to do a quick graph and figure it out for yourself, is negative infinity to 13, and 13 has a parenthesis. Right, last one here. We got a lot of stuff going on here, so it's best to go ahead and look at what goes on either side and work them as separate problems to help retain your focus. Right? So on the left-hand side, I have a 3x and a negative 5x that I can go ahead and combine. When I do that, I get negative 2x. The minus 1 is by himself, and he's just going to stay. Right? When I look at the other side, I have some distribution going on here. All right. So my negative 3x I can't do anything with right away. I'm going to distribute the negative 2, because remember, take the sign with whatever's on the outside. And I have negative 2x, and a negative give me a plus 8. I still have some stuff to do on this side, so I'm going to keep going with this side, leave the other side alone. I can go ahead and combine those, and I have negative 5x plus 8. Right. Now both sides are as simple as possible, keeping in mind that I have an inequality here, and I can just drop down what I have on the left-hand side. Now I want to go ahead and get my x's to the left, so I'm going to add 5x to both sides. And here I have 3x minus 1 is less than or equal to positive 8. Adding 1 to both sides, that cancels. I have 3x is less than or equal to 9. Running out of room here, so if I divide both sides by 3, I have x is less than or equal to 3. And notice again, I didn't have to do any sign flipping. So make sure that you go ahead, practice the problems that I have for you. And I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.